Thank you, everybody. Welcome to Build. I'm your host, Ricky Camilleri. Our next guest has been making us laugh for decades now. And for 4 seasons on FX's Baskets, he's been also warming our hearts as Christine Baskets, mother to a rodeo clown played by Zach Galifianakis. Let's take a look at Baskets.
Kids are not laughing at clowns anymore. They're scared of them.
Go away!
It's like the world's gone insane.
Do you want to know what my life coach would say?
Do you have a life coach? Don't you need a life first?
Everybody give Chip a hand for coming tonight.
Do you know what it is that you want?
What are we on my dad's side?
Scotch Irish, honey. It's heavy on the scotch. That's a drinking joke. Don't put that in.
Stars take long to...
We let others take control of our lives. A controlling mother.
I've been thinking about maybe moving out.
Are you in a cult?
A bullying brother.
Oh, God.
Dad, do you live in a trailer park?
Well, it's kind of like a marina, and the RVs are sailboats or yachts.
Do you know that you are in charge?
I worked really hard. I wasn't always this CEO you see standing here.
Look who it is, the mascot from the men's warehouse.
Oh! I feel like I'm in some sort of fairy tale.
Go, Chip! Go, Chip!
I thought I smelled a beautiful perfume wafting through the RV park. What is that, Juicy Couture?
I guess I'll just go with the standard compact luxury, please.
This full insurance cover everything, and that way you can just walk away.
I just walked away, like you said.
You look really grown up.
Thank you, Martha. No, you look good. I hear pillow patterns are in this year.
Everybody, please welcome Louie Anderson. Hey.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
It's good to see you. It's been a little while.
Was it 2 years?
I think
3?
it was. I think it was for the 3rd season, right?
So last year.
But it might have been near the maybe. It was the end
because
of the
we had a
2nd
year
season.
off.
Yeah.
Because Galifianakis, you know him?
I'm not sure who that is.
Yeah, me neither. No, he had a couple movies that I wasn't in.
Ooh, fancy.
Didn't even ask me. There was some part I could play, but I don't hold that stuff against people.
You don't bring that up on set casually?
It's occasionally.
Yeah.
Well, you should have a little bit of an adversarial thing when he's the son and you're his mother.
Right, and you play, as much as you are a loving, doting mother, you are also, in some ways, his adversary at times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You mean like mean?
Yeah.
Because I am kind of a mean mother, but honestly,
Yeah.
get with it, kid.
Well, he's an adult.
Yes.
It's the kind of thing where you know that she would feel like he needs someone to be mean to him, and he kind of does, but he doesn't respond to that either.
I feel like they're like kindred, spirits, like with each other, don't you?
Yeah.
Don't you think? Is kindred the right word, or kinder, or
Well, they are kin.
kinder? But is it kindred? It's
Yeah.
kindred.
Kindred spirits. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so.
Kindred, she's a quite singer, isn't she? I don't know. Does it sound like a good name, though? Kindred.
Oh, yeah, I like
Yeah.
that.
I'm sorry to be abstract, but I was just doing another show that was pretty abstract. Downstairs.
Are you in an abstract mood?
I've just finished 10 days of press,
Yeah.
and so I feel like running down the street screaming.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
What is...
Just because you have to answer a lot of questions about yourself.
Right.
Repetitively, which is fine. That's the job. I was built for show business.
It sounds like it. You sound comfortable and happy with it.
Yeah, it's the best job for me because it's a few hours a day, and then I'm done. And people treat you nice.
What is 10 days of press like for Louie Anderson?
And I had a cold at the time, so I'm just being a big baby.
We all have our moments.
But it's early mornings, to talk. You're on a show, you get up at 6 or 5. You're on the show at 7. People are putting stuff on your face, moving your hair without even talking to you, shape-shifting you. And you have to answer questions.
Right.
So you have to be present for it. Because I'm from a family, we're not morning people. Like, we get up, we don't talk, we just go like this when we see each other. It sounds,
And you're not a morning person now. What time do you
Now I
normally
am
get
more.
up?
Now I am. I get up by 10, which is a morning time for a comic.
Yeah, that's
You know,
true because comics
'cause
are
it used to
generally
be-
performing at night.
Yeah, because I'm up late,
Yeah.
like 9, get up between 9 and 10 and go, I'm still alive.
And for when you're doing press, you have to get up at 5 or 6.
Yeah, so.
I saw
I'm
you
not-
do the Today Show. How did that go?
Oh my God, that was so much fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Today Show really rolled out the red carpet for me.
Oh, that's
It was
nice.
really sweet. They did the whole backdrop with Christine and the cats and the whole thing. It was really sweet. And Al Roker is a friend from 100 years ago, and so it was really
When did you
nice.
first meet Al Roker?
I was walking to the daytime Emmys here in New York in 1901, and Al and his wife were going by, and he said, "You're going to win the Emmy today for Life with Louie." And I go, "Am I? How do you know that?" He goes, "I just have a feeling." And I won it, and we've been friends ever since. And
He called
yeah,
it.
he called it. It was really fun.
It was his confidence in you that pushed you over the edge. That gave you the award, I think.
Sometimes I always think those kind of things. I'm the kind of person who has a deck of cards and goes, 4. I got it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. What do you
I'm
think?
easily amused, I think.
What do you think of Christine's new relationship that started last season and is blossoming this season?
Well, I'm sorry.
That's okay. What do you got? Oh, okay.
I just got to get
Full pockets
doing
there.
some magic in a minute. No, I just want to do my Johnny Carson. I really love it. But Christine as a character is, she's terrified. She hasn't had anybody in her life for 25, maybe 30 years, maybe more. And she's got to let them back into her life. And she has 2 sons that she kind of has still been doting on. And so she has 2 sons who are DJ twins who are gone all the time. And she's not sure that she can let somebody love her again because she was so crushed the first time by her husband's death. So
And he is an incredibly kind,
yeah,
good man.
he's so good.
Yeah. What is it like doing?
Alex Morris is the actor, and he's just so lovely. When we did the reading for the thing, we knew right away when he came in. He was just perfect for Christine.
Really? In what way was he? What was that reading like?
He had all that. He has such unconditional love that just came across in the reading, and he was present. He looked. We connected right away, and he's a good kisser. So really.
Did you have to do that in the reading too?
No, we didn't do that in the. I could just tell though. You know how you can just tell when you look at someone and go, "Oh yeah, that's a good kisser." Sometimes people will come to my show with their parents that are friends that I've met, and the parents are really excited about coming to the show. And their son, let's just say their son's name is Ricky or whatever you want. And they'll go, "Oh, well, we're really glad we got to meet you." I go, "Oh yeah, Ricky's great. Such a nice person, your son, and a good kisser." And they don't know what, like sometimes they're just like, they look at him and there's no way out of it for him. It's just, it's a weird conversation after.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that? You were a good kisser.
And then the Ricky
I
in
never
this
see those
situation.
people hardly ever again.
It's good.
'Cause they're
No,
so
he was
shocked by
kidding.
it.
He was kidding. They're
Yeah,
like,
there's no way out,
But
though.
why would he say that? Because it's a joke.
Yeah.
But why is that a joke? Well, I don't know. Because
That's
it's
what I
funny.
was counting on.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just seemed like it's my nature to make people a little uncomfortable.
Christine has kind of Mrs. Baskets has always been a character that you loved, and right away, in getting the chance to play this part, you've always spoken so, I think, beautifully about the chance and the character, and with a full heart. It seemed like it really surprised you that they gave you the opportunity and that you were able to sink into it as much as you did. What is it like as they have started to throw her new storyline, especially with
Excuse me.
with this new partner of hers? That's okay.
Well, I'm in the character 1,000%.
Yeah.
So there's no Louie Anderson in the character. I go in there as a woman. When I put that outfit on and get the wig on, I play a woman. I'm 1,000% committed to it. And I'm emotionally committed to it. And I'll be right out. but I'm so committed to the. I couldn't resist it.
No, it's perfect.
I'm so committed to it, and I'm playing my mom, so there's a double layer in there.
Right.
So every time some circumstance comes up, I think to myself when I read it in the script and then get ready to play it, what would my mom think?
Yeah.
What would my mom do?
Like, how would your mother handle a new suitor like this at
Yes.
this point in her life?
Well, she was so charming herself.
Yeah.
And she would, she was, I tried to like, okay, well, I'm going to play my mom as the loving person she was before my dad did so much damage in that relationship. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I'm going to try and play it that way. But I also kept the damage in there because, Christine's husband killed himself. So it's a comedy, by the way. And but it's a really important show in so many ways, I think. And so what happens is I'm emotionally connected and I play it for all it's worth right there. And I think my mom was braver than most people are, or than I think I have been in my life.
Hey, most mothers are.
Yeah, I think mothers are. Yes, I agree with you. And so I play her really brave, that she's going to go for it, but she's still scared. She's scared to death. And I got gut punched a couple of times this year. I always get emotional over this stuff. But a couple of times when I was playing the scene, I asked myself, was my mom ever this happy? And it happened to me recently again. I said, was my mom ever this happy? Because it just broke my heart if she wasn't. And then the last time I asked that, my niece posted this picture of my mom as a young teenager with the most exciting, happy smile on her face. And it was just like, am I in some sort of, crazy parallel deal going on where I'm so connected to everything? And so I think she was happy. I think there was a time when joy was a big part of her life, because how could she convey all the joy she conveyed to me unless that joy was alive and well in her? And so that's how I try to play it. So
there's a wonderful storyline in I believe an upcoming episode, and I don't want to spoil anything, where she is
spoil away. No, I'm just kidding.
Where she is trying to make trying to please and trying to kind of charm her. What is the character's name?
Ken.
Ken.
Yeah.
And she gets this sign, but he doesn't necessarily get it. It's like one of those bless this mess type of signs for the home, but it's a different phrase, and he doesn't get it. And then she gets upset and worried about magnets, and there's these very minor things in her life that she's using as a means to sort of showcase her love for this man and comfort in her new home. And I loved how small those things were between her and Ken, and for her alone, that those were these big emotional arcs for her with these very minor things that we would normally overlook in people's lives.
And I think that's Jonathan Kreisel.
Yeah.
I think he has a great deal to do with that. He's a tremendous director who did Portlandia, and I want to go big with stuff. Like he'll say to me so many times, I go, "How was it?" He goes, "Let's bring it down." Like me, just keep bringing it down. So, because I want to play it bigger, and Christine can be a really big character, and that's fun too. But it is that nuance that my mom had also that I try to tap into. And so that was really upsetting for her because it was a really funny sign to me and really hard to get. It said...
Great sign.
Yeah. It says olive...
Some tomatoes, right?
Yeah, and so the idea behind the sign is, I love you to...
From my head?
From my head... To my
tomatoes.
It's tomatoes to my, and I kept playing the scene, and it was really hard to do it right. But I said, how would my mom do it? And she wouldn't quite get it right away. She'd have to work at it. But then she'd, and so I tried to play it like that. At least that's just my guess of how I would do it,
But I love the way that episode, the kindness that Ken showed her in the final moments of that episode, and the way that you play that and how it reveals what she was looking for, how much deeper what she was looking for was outside of just that sign itself. Like the joke starts on the surface and then we peel the layer back to the final
Right.
moments and realize this is actually very meaningful and emotional for her and is all about,
It was a heavy scene that day.
Yeah.
I was really crying in that scene.
you can tell.
Yeah. So the thing that you just said is Christine is to be convinced of this love. And I think that's what's going on. You know, like she's distracted easily. And so she's trying to make these big impacts. But you're right. It's the little things that Ken does that are so good.
Well, she needs to be reminded that this love is consistent.
Yes. Well, that it's there.
Yeah.
That it's there. Same thing. Same thing. But you know, like they talk on the iPads, and he's down the hall with his cat, and Christine's in her room with her cat, with Ronald Reagan, and that is an interesting thing about the way the world is right now, how you could be down the hall and be really have a real intimate, conversation with somebody, but they can't get at you. So that, to me, is how the world is right now. There's a lot of that stuff going on.
I think it might make a lot of relationships easier.
I think it's, yeah.
You go to your room, I'll go to my room, and we'll go to sleep talking to each other on our iPads.
Well, I'm a comic, so I've been on the road for 40 years. And I am so, like, I got all my I got a lot of rituals about the way I sleep and how everything has to be. Because,
Yeah.
I'm completely insane. And I think most people have these kind of things. And I grew up with 10 brothers and sisters, so, I've got the door barricaded so they can't get in. That type of thing from growing up. Because when you're a younger of the 10 kids, you're 10th of 11, they're out to get you. That's their job. And they'll torture you. Let's throw wet washcloths on Louie while he's sleeping. You know what I mean?
Did they do that?
Yes, that was the nice
So
stuff.
now, at this age, you still go to bed every now and then, waking up being like, wet washcloth. Just kind of worried that it's going to happen.
Yeah. Well, I think I think what has happened to me is that I'm really happy and full of joy and really thrilled with my life.
Yeah.
And really connected to this is a great life and I'm really happy and I try not to get into that, but I can be tugged back into that.
What is something in your life on a daily basis that makes you happiest? Like, where do you find happiness? How do you seek it? People?
People are it.
Yeah.
Like, like earlier, like 2 days ago, I was doing another interview. And, I'm walking up to the counter. In New York, if you're going to go into a big building, you've got to give them your ID and the whole thing. It makes sense. It's a crazy world. I get it. When I walk up to the one guy, let's say you're the guy. I give him that. The other guy comes at me with his phone and goes, "What? You don't do the movies anymore?" I go, "What? What? You don't do the movies anymore?" And I go, I'm humored, first of all. This is joyful for me after the first couple of seconds. Because at first I wanted to go, "I'll kill you." But only as a brother, that type of thing. I'll kill you. But I don't mean really kill you. But New York kill you.
Because he was bringing up that you hadn't been in some
No,
movies
but
recently?
yes. I mean, it's so rude, but I don't feel like he was trying to be rude.
Of course not, yeah.
But it's still rude. So this publicist, Uni, who's a publicist for FX, tries to rescue me and goes, "He's got a show on FX." And the guy goes, "I don't watch television." And I go, "Oh, this is for me to realize that I'm human and this is all so wonderful and so weird." And he goes, "You're famous. I'm taking a picture of you." I go, "I'm taking a picture of you, too, because you're going to be famous." "I am." I go, "No." But I didn't do that. But that made me laugh so hard because that sounds so, like that voice is with me for the rest of my life.
Right.
"You don't do the movies anymore? I guess not. I think I said, I guess not. Oh, like I had some responsibility.
Do you find that every now and then that a fan or someone who approaches you who likes your work also accidentally throws out something like semi-insulting when they say something? Like we had someone here.
What happened to the feud? How come you're not
exactly,
on the feud
something
anymore?
like that. Yeah.
How come you're not on the feud anymore?
That's
what I say to people. No, but I go right back with them. I try to diffuse it because I don't want to get into it.
Of course.
Because there's a part of me that's like my dad that would really get into it with you, and he'd have to work it out with you, and it wouldn't be pleasant. So I try not to be my dad in that case. But yeah, but they don't mean it. I've taken away they don't mean to be that way.
Right.
And that was the kind of day it was. And then I go in the revolving door, which, when you're a big person, you're thinking, ooh, revolving door, no fun. And there's just a lot of things that can go wrong when you're fat in a revolving door. I'm just telling you, you don't realize it because you're just cruising through. So I go in, and I'm taking my time in the revolving door. A New Yorker gets in from the other side, a woman, and bristles because I'm going so slow and starts pushing it faster. And then I lock up the door and stop it. And she goes, let it go. I go, what? Let the door go. What door? That come on. I go, what? You don't do the movies anymore? Oh, she was so mad. I cannot tell you how mad she was. Anyway.
It's such an interesting part of entertainment.
And that's what you said, what I like.
Yeah.
It's people. Is there anything better than all that? I can't get that kind of entertainment on Netflix. I'm sorry.
Yeah, just natural human interaction filled with
listen to
mistakes.
that. I mean, I can't get laughs. I'll be giggling every night for a month or more. I'll be saying it, and people won't know what I'm doing. Where I'll be going, what? You don't do the movies anymore? It was one of my favorite things of all time, so. And every time I go in the revolving door, guess what? I'm going to slow it down a little. People should slow down.
I agree.
You know the New York pace? Mm-hmm. I am not in it. I'm not on that pace. I'm on this pace.
Let's get some questions from our audience. Who's a question?
Hi.
Hi. I was wondering if there was a role that you've been wanting to play that you haven't gotten the chance to play yet.
Yes.
The movies?
Yes.
You gonna do the movies?
Well, if I can get the role, but I'd like to play a really serious part that's just pure serious, where I'm mean like my dad, just mean and dangerous like he was, and that kind of a role like that. The dramas are probably my favorite shows, that, and I guess I'd like to play a man again.
Is Christine the closest you've gotten to a dramatic role? Because she can be she can have pretty dramatic.
Yeah,
moments.
She's very dramatic. Yeah, I did a part in Search Party. I did 5 episodes of the show Search Party. Yeah. Where I play a lawyer that's kind of there's some serious stuff in it, but I always think it would be fun to do just a serious part. Where.
Is that the kind of thing where you would have to go out for it, or are you just hoping that someone?
I mean, I would go out for it, but I don't think I'm thought of in the part. Yeah, of course. So if you're thought of, but I do get people wanting. I'm up for a very serious part in there's a book called Heft. Have you ever heard of it? Mm-mm. It's I forget what the woman's name is that wrote it. I'm sorry to her as an author myself for not to remember it, but it's a 500-pound. Professor who lives in Brooklyn, who has been kind of alone in his place because and it's with Renee Zellweger. We're all part of this movie. We haven't gotten the funding. Renee Zellweger, and what's the kid's name from the clown movie, It?
From It?
Yeah.
Who's the kid from Stranger Things as well?
I think so. The kid who there's a son in this.
Gotcha.
That is intonated that it's Renee and my son because I lost my job as a professor because I had an inappropriate relationship with Renee. So I'd really like that. I like to play a 500-pound person because I really like to show. I mean, I think people don't understand when you're really big that there are some differences in the way you live your life. And
Well, it's like you bringing up the revolving door,
Yeah.
and you bring it up as a joke right now, but I'm also sure that that has been a moment for you where, like, you can make fun of it and you can have it as a joke, or it can be a moment that actually causes you some pain.
well, I'm a food addict, so I really understand my food. It's my food addiction, you know. I'm a drug addict, but with bread, you know what I mean? It's the same thing. And it's a hard addiction to have because if let's say you have a cocaine addiction, you can't have like a little cocaine in the morning. You know, like you can't have, you know what I mean? You can't, with food, you still have to eat. So you have to be very careful what you eat because those foods are like cocaine for you.
And it's weird. I mean, I'm not calling anybody out for laughing just now. Like, it was nice, but it's interesting
laugh
to
about
say,
it.
like, I have an addiction to bread. People immediately kind of chuckle because they
Well-
never, it's kind of stigmatized. It's thought as something that you wouldn't necessarily be addicted to. So
Right.
it's even hard for, I think, the person who has that to find the ability to take it seriously.
I think the hardest thing about food is that people can't quite get that in their head that it's because if you don't really have an issue with food, you don't really understand that. You just go, I don't need to. But you know, if I can't have certain foods in the house because I'll eat them. And so with a food addiction, you eat all the food. You may not eat it right at that one sitting, but you will eventually eat the whole box of Captain Crunch.
Is Captain Crunch one of your?
Well, I mean, isn't it everyone's? I mean,
Very
for
good,
anybody.
yeah.
I mean, cereal or things like that, or that. But I'm working on it, and I go to, Overeaters Anonymous, and it's really good. I go up and down when I'm traveling. It's the hardest part because it takes a lot of structure, but.
Yeah, I mean, everybody, I think.
And
most
it's all
people,
tied to my life because my mom, when my dad would drink and he'd be mean, she would feed us as to make us feel better.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of correlations to that.
How long have you been struggling, or when did you sort of realize that you had a food addiction and start going to Overeaters
Probably
Anonymous
when-
and dealing with it?
Well, no, I always had a issue even as a teenager.
Right.
You know, I was a fat kid, so. And I was in the hospital once and lost a lot of weight as a kid when they gave me like 6 Dexedrine a day, Black Dex. And I'd be up like all night.
Just
And I'd
lay-
be at the nurse's office, in the station in the middle of the hospital. What's going on with who's in that room? What's their problem?
Just speeding out, laying in a
Speed,
hospital
so,
bed.
Yeah, just like, oh, God. It was terrible. But
I'm sorry that I'm laughing. I just
No,
think it's like
well,
so
I mean-
horrible for doctors to give like a kid
I'm
a
so
bunch
lucky
of
I found
Dexedrine.
this, job that I could, be exposed all these things that are funny,
Yeah.
but are also very serious. But I mean, it's really a big problem in our country. Processed foods and all
Oh
the.
my God, yeah.
I mean, that's the number one addiction right now is food in the country. It's taken over everything, but it isn't reported in the same way.
Yeah. When did you start going to Overeaters Anonymous?
Well, I can't really say because it's anonymous.
Oh, fair enough. Excuse me.
No, I'm kidding.
Okay.
I like it when I would go to Overeaters Anonymous and it's an anonymous thing and people go, I love your comedy. It's really good. I go, wait a minute, it's anonymous. I know, I'm not going to tell anybody. I'm just saying. I go, you're not getting the idea. Well, it's the same thing, isn't it? I go, no, never mind. You can't explain certain things to people, but
Yeah.
I don't take it personal. I think I have to do less work and take better care of myself, and I know that. And so, but when I love to work and I love to eat.
Is not taking things personal something that you've come to as you've gotten older, learned how to do, or have you always been a person who was able to not take things personally?
No, I used to take things very personally as a kid. I was, I really was a sensitive kid. My dad was really a cruel guy, so. But I think, I think that mostly people, if you're raised a certain way, everybody has that friend that goes, he's so or she's so inappropriate. She's so mean. But that person was raised in maybe a mean family, doesn't even know they're being mean. And so it's really like the human condition to me is the most interesting thing in the world. and I'm fascinated by it. And so to play this part where I play this woman, there's not very many, you know, close to 400-pound women, mothers on TV. So I feel like this part is really important.
I bet you
Get it
also
right.
you also always have moments as Christine where you're playing a version of your mom where you do something that you think your mother would do and then realize that that is something that you do now as well.
Yeah.
You're constantly having that conversation with the behavioral patterns that your mother has instilled in you for, you know, for better or worse. I know your mother was a wonderful person, but all of our parents had for better or worse things.
Well, I mean, I think the best thing I could tell somebody about their parents is if they could become friends with them and get by the son-daughter relationship, and they could become friends so they could have honest talks with their parents. It's so hard, it's so difficult, and I don't make it a easy thing. But if my mom were alive, I would make every effort to be able to sit next to her and go, maybe we should have a salad.
Right.
You know? I don't mean it like in even a gratuitous way there, but I think I would be, I think relationships in my family were all conditional. So I think that that's always a hard thing too.
And that's
food, you know, food is like such a reward system for me.
And growing up with conditional relationships is a really hard thing to break
It
in
is.
regards to the other relationships in your life because you end up using those, or not using those, but forming conditional relationships around yourself and not ones that are based off of effort and the work that goes into a relationship.
Right. And I think when you grow up completely dysfunctional, you have to find a place that really makes it work for you. Like, and that's why stand-up comedy for me and show business is like the best place to be a little nuts.
Right.
And, you know, to be a little dysfunctional because it works. It's perfect, you know. And, but, you know, I loved what I do in this part. I think I was given this part as some sort of like, okay, here, you are going to be completely faced with yourself. Have at it.
Process this.
Yeah. And so, luckily, I'm working with Zach Galifianakis, the nicest human being in the world, you know, and Jonathan Kreisel, the most interesting, fascinating, you know, person, director-wise. I mean, I bet he's never given me one bit of direction.
Really?
He just doesn't push it around. He wants me to find it, and he just is the most, you know. We do a lot of takes, but, you know, I watched the episode last night and I go, Jesus, God, this teeny tiny stuff is so magnificent. I hope more people watch it. You guys got to watch it. The people out there who are watching this, please watch Baskets. I don't think we'll be around next year for another episode unless we get some viewership. You know, because it's such a nuanced show. I feel like I'm making a show that people are really going to be engaged in 10 years or 20 years. I go, do you ever see that basket show?
Or they're going to approach you in a building with a camera and go, no more baskets?
Yeah. You don't do the big woman anymore? What?
One more question from the audience. What do we got?
Hi.
Hi.
So in your career, when people write stuff for you, is there stuff that you just like flat out deny, like topics you just won't make jokes about or anything?
Yeah, I won't do anything that is mean to people. Like I won't do any stuff that minimalizes women or men or you know, gay or straight or anything that is, I mean, within a character I might do that, but I mean, I won't do any stuff that is out to get someone. I never even would do that as a comic or anything. Like I just never, even when there's a really bad heckler, I would just go, oh, I could just crush you. But
the knowledge that
you could, well, no, because I have done it where I crushed the heckler, where I was completely cruel and mean. Because, you know, no holds barred when you come from a alcoholic family that's dysfunctional. No holds, I mean, you'll say anything. And so the times that I've done it early in my career, I have been so devastated by it that it really hurt me more than anything. And so, yeah, I won't do stuff that is mean. unless it's, towards my brother. No, I'm just kidding. Thank you.
Louie, I love to see you.
Yeah, I
So
always
nice to
feel
see you.
like, I always feel like I'm getting a little free therapy with you.
I try.
Yeah?
I think I feel like I'm getting a little bit of it too. You've said something that I'm going to hold on to for a while. Yeah.
Well, didn't I have a big conversation about your mom?
Yes.
When I was here last?
Yeah,
How
and
is
you
she?
signed a book and we
Yeah.
gave it to her. She's good. She just got a new pool that she's very excited about.
And your most important thing is, right?
To go to that pool and hang out with her,
Yes, to
yes, I'm
go.
gonna.
And, does she smoke?
No.
Okay, so you can't have a cigarette with her. So in the pool. Just in the pool. I could just see you. Ma, isn't this something? It's good, honey. Thanks a lot. And thanks for the Shirley Temple. I just love it. To do that and to bring something over there for the pool that every time your mom looks at it, she thinks, oh.
Yeah. I gotta do it.
Yeah. It's hard to do, though, right?
Yeah.
Here's the difficult thing. All those kind of things are hard to do for one reason. There's a ton of stuff with them. Mm-hmm. There's not just a little thing. I would have liked to have talked to my mom about why she stayed with my dad. But I kind of get it in a lot of ways. But, it still bugs me because I think it really made us so miserable for so long. But it was a different era and everything. Now women, I think, have more choices, I hope.
That's true, but I do also think that people get stuck, and it's
yeah.
very
Yeah,
hard for
that's
people
true. There
to
you go.
leave their situation no matter what it is. It takes an intense amount of. It takes a knowledge that there's something on the other side. If you really don't feel like there's that thing on the other
true.
side,
And with
how can you
11
do it?
kids, here's the best thing my mom ever said. This is what kind of knocked me on my butt once. My dad drank at the age of 69. My father quit drinking. My mom looked right at me and said, I told you he'd quit. And I go, oh my God. I had no idea she was playing the long game. I had no idea she simultaneously took credit for it on some level and missed the whole point of this whole thing, I guess, or maybe she was right.
How did you handle it when she did that? Were you able to sort of take that and be like, okay?
Well, it was more of a whiplash thing.
Yeah.
Like more of like, what? But I don't even think I knew the depth of it.
It's like
at the
one of
time.
those.
We were just so happy my dad quit drinking.
Yeah, it's one of those moments though where your parents say something, and because they're your parents, you can respond with like, "You're wrong. How could you say that?" And it takes somebody outside of the family to be like, "Look, she's just saying that because she's finally getting a breath, and she needs this." But you realize that as a child.
You can. And how strong and stubborn she was.
Yeah.
To be able to wait that many years.
To just waiting to be able to do that.
To be able to say, I told you he'd quit, Louie.
Every night she went to bed going, one day I'll be able to say I told you so.
I don't think she did that.
No.
But I think she just never thought he wouldn't quit, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Louie Baskets.
Yes.
On FX.
Please watch
right?
Baskets.
Thursday night.
And even if you hate it, just watch it.
There's nothing to hate.
No, but seriously, and watch all the other
show.
episodes. Watch it on every platform. Just take a day and dedicate it to me. No, I'm just kidding.
Louie Anderson, everybody.
Thank you.
Let's hear it.